What's up, guys? Welcome back to Have You Found Your Crown? Another episode, episode 3, season 1. I'm super excited about today because I feel like with today's topic, which is why most people never chase their dreams, we're going to get into a lot of why I feel like people get in their own way. And I think the three main things is fear, comfort, and validation. And we're going to definitely cover those three and why I feel like those are the most important points to when you're chasing your dreams. Let's get into it. In today's episode, episode 3, season 1, like I said in the intro, uh, why most people never chase their dreams. This is super, super important because I think it's going to hit home for a lot of people who still are chasing their dreams actively. It's never too late. Let's start with that. But they do get to a point where I feel like the more you live life, the more you gain in life, the more responsibilities you have in life, those things will start to alter your road to success or your road to your dreams if you haven't already gotten there. And I believe the older you get and the more you live, you should be in tune with that and learn from that. The three main things I feel that keeps people from their dreams is fear, comfort, and validation. So let's get into the first one, fear. I think we all know that life is a compilation of all type of emotions, but fear being one of the main things. And fear really comes from just not knowing what to expect, not knowing how to receive things, not knowing how to gain things, access things. So I understand fear, but the thing about fear is it's nothing but fuel for courage. I hope somebody writes that down. Fear is nothing but fuel for courage. You have to learn to lean into fear. You have to learn to lean into being uncomfortable. You got to learn to be an innovative, be a thinker. Starting a business, having a brand, you're going to always have the fear of what do people think? Like, oh, how am I going to produce this or how am I going to sell it? Like, your main thing has to be learning to cope with fear. And that's just like I say, through within life. And I hope that by now people kind of understand that this all dwells in with each other. Who you are within is who you are without. And all the things that you're looking to produce and all the things you're looking to create, all of these things that we talk about as far as like characteristics and learning to cope and get over your fear, that all matters. And I think the more successful you are with these things, you're going to exceed your expectations when it comes to actual business and actual design and actual hustle that it takes and the faith that it takes within yourself. You got to have faith within yourself for sure. And I think the more faith you have within yourself, the more you push yourself, the more you'll begin to push fear out. Because like I said, fear is nothing but the unknown. So you learn to lean into more of the unknown, learn to lean into more of the what you don't know in life and continue to push. Now, the next thing we're going to get into is going to be comfort. A lot of people, I feel, don't know how to stretch out to their full capabilities because they're comfortable. And being comfortable is not a place to be. I didn't say you can't have leisure time. I didn't say you can't have time to be creative, time to recharge. But being comfortable should be something you should be scared of. Real talk. I've said in the first episode how moving away from home was one of the ways for me to get out of my comfort zone. I love DC. I love DC. I love it to death, and I'm always back in my city. But one of the things I had to learn was I'm my best version when I'm away, when I'm not around familiar people, things, and places. And it causes me to not only expand as a person, but expand in my growth as a creative. Because now I'm in a whole new space, so I have to not. I don't like to use the word adapt too much, but I don't think that's such a bad characteristic because having an adaptive uh, motive is can really help you access your way and navigate your way in a lot of unfamiliar places. So you do have to learn to adapt, because not everybody walks or talks the same. We all may beat to the same rhythm, but we don't all dance the same way. You get what I'm saying? So I think that comfort is definitely um, and a leg of being lazy, and a leg of not wanting to be or push yourself to the ultimate limits that you can. And why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you want to push yourself to the max? And I think being a creative, and I think being in design, especially in the space that we're in now, we're in a lot of like this copycat era, or this like, I want it now. No one wants to build legacy. No one wants to think about tomorrow. It's all about today and what I can get out of today. And not even today, but now. And I think that right there is such a negative and bad connotation that we have within the world, and that we have to get rid of, because we got to continue to strive to be better, and we got to continue to strive to want to to express ourselves. And when it comes to fashion specifically, I feel that, you know, fashion is nothing but a reflection of like the times we're in. That's why you'll see things be revolved. That's why it's like, um, when we're in a place of happiness and expressiveness, and when everybody is kind of thriving, you'll see some of the dopest creations and some of the dopest people, come out of that. And I feel like now there's kind of been a cap on creativity. There's kind of been a cap on expressing yourself. And it's kind of a fall into the mold type of atmosphere. And as a creative, you have to learn to navigate yourself through that and be better. And I think that always checking in on yourself, and like I said, when you get to a place of comfort, and all of the people around you and all of the things around you seem familiar, and you're not really gaining a motivation, or gaining a new perspective on things, you got to learn to move yourself away from that and constantly grow and constantly want to be better. And like I said, all of these things are gonna come, but you got to push yourself for these. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is validation. Validation, validation, validation. Out of all three of the talking points today, I think this one hits home the most for me, as far as uh, I struggled a lot coming up um, with that. And I feel that I seek validation within the wrong people, but that's not their fault. That's my fault. And as I've gotten older, I've definitely made sure to check that, and make that uh, only but a part of life, not something that I currently do. And so when it comes to validation, know that you only need to seek validation from yourself. That's number one. And if you're a religious person like me, of course, God. You got to live and see for God. Um, but for my people that may not necessarily be in religion, um, know that validation and self validation is something that is preserved in you. And it's something that you're constantly going to have to refuel, recharge, and recheck all the time. Because, and I hate to be the one to break it to you if no one's told you, but this world isn't going to always be your best buddy. This world isn't going to always have or give you what you need. So you got to learn a lot of times to focus on yourself and focus on what you want in life. And I think that a lot of that comes with knowing who you are. And if we go back to the simple thing of business, design, fashion, validation is super huge. Excuse me, self validation is super huge in being successful in anything, but specifically in business and design and fashion. This is a very opinionated world, and it only gets more of that when you get into things of the arts and fashion, and being in a expressive lane. People are going to always say what they want to say, and it's freedom of speech. They have every right to, but you have to have the self validation to know that regardless of what is said, if you feel it and if you foresee it, then that's all that matters. And so when we talk about fear, comfort, validation, I think it all sums up to fear of judgment. And if we go back to just a few seconds ago, self-validation supersedes all of that. And just know when you put things out into the world, it's not for people to judge. They're going to do that, but that's not what it's for. It's for you to put out things in the world, for you to express yourself, for you to be an example of self-expression. That's why I say it's important to hone in on your arts, your craft, and hone in on the lane that you're trying to get into. Study the greats, see what makes them tick, but also at the same time, study yourself and study the guideline of a successful person. And part of being a successful person is knowing how to have self-validation and knowing how not to look or seek for judgment, for approval. Like, who are you looking to approve? What are you looking for them to approve? If you want the whole world to jump up and down and be excited about you, that's just not going to happen. People got more important things to do. I hate to break it to you, but that's just the truth. So it goes back to, what are you really doing it for? And for a lot of people, I hope that you kind of write that down and seek that. Like, what is your purpose? And that kind of gets lost because nobody really asks nobody that anymore, you know. And so, you know, fear of judgment, playing it safe, not you might have a really, really great dope idea, but because you're looking for the validation from somebody else, it's almost like, yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna just stick with the trends, or I'm gonna stick with what I think people may like. Like, yeah, it's okay to look at the trends and look at what you have to be in tune with what's going on in the world, but that doesn't mean you have to be a reflection of that. You got to learn to kind of have your own groove in this world. And if everybody going left and you see something dope over there on the right, learn to go to the right side. It's okay. It's okay to be you. If anything, take that. It's okay to be you, for sure. Comparing yourself to others. Once again, when you're studying the game, when you're looking around, when you're being in tune with trends and what's going on in your particular lane of business, it's a thin line between admiring and comparing. It's okay to admire a certain section of someone's business that you may like, or a design they may put out, but what are you going to do to put your own twist on it? Remember, the art is a reflection, and when we put it out, it should be to inspire. It should be you should want other people to be expressive, or wear your stuff because it makes them feel a certain way, makes them feel good, makes them feel that they're expressing themselves and who they are. Like, that's the dope stuff with me. Like, the validation when someone wears Godly, they feel a part of something, a community, a culture. You know, and I think that that's super, super huge. And you gotta build that with any business. People want to feel a part of it. Think about that for yourself. When you buy things, the certain brands that you like, you feel a part of it. Something they did, some marketing tactic, something about that brand makes you feel aligned with that. And you know, um, if you don't take anything away from today's episode, excuse me, the biggest prison is caring what people think. I'm gonna say that one more time. The biggest prison is caring what people think. Everything starts here. That's the mind, if you don't see me where I'm pointing. Then it goes back to self-validation, self-preservation. You got to learn to keep going. You got to learn to, move to the beat of your own drum. And that all comes with practice. I did not just become, or have always been, this person that you see. I'm still growing and I'm still going. So I even sometimes have to rewatch these things because my whole thing is, I can't be a hypocrite. I can't say one thing and then move another way. That's just never been how I do. So when I have it up in my mind to express myself and put things out there, I'm going to fall aligned with that. And even when it comes to Godly, I understand that I'm a representation of that. So for the rest of my life, I always have to keep that in mind. And these are the things of business that I always express. And a lot of times, this is why you see a lot of businesses not, and a lot of brands not having a lot of trustworthiness, because look at the people that are leading it. So you got to also understand, when you become a person that has their brand, or a person that has their business, a person that's putting things out in the world, you have to be a reflection of that. And I'm hoping that that's in a positive way. So I just want people to continue to chase their dreams and find their crown, and not seek validation from anyone. Like self-validation. Wake up in the mirror, feel good. Feel good when you wake up. Write things down. Write down your goals and your dreams. I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you are in life. You always should be one peak of a mountain should be a bottom of another. Keep going. Always keep going. Utilize the time you have here on earth. It's not much. you know, make it last. Leave an impression. I appreciate everyone always for checking out these episodes, and I really enjoyed these. I hope you're enjoying them. Please comment if you are. We'll start some threads. Reach out to me, and yeah, like I said, I'm still growing this show, so there's going to be changes in the intros and outros, but we're going to find consistency, and we're going to grow for sure. God bless. Like always, I appreciate y'all. Have you found your crown? The series.